From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
John, this is...
Don't tell me. Harry Branson at Philadelphia Mutual.
Yes, it is. Listen, John, I know you found his Amati violin.
Are you sure?
But Ricardo Amerigo himself, nothing. And after all, there's not only the $20,000 policy on him, but... What do you mean, am I sure?
Are you sure it was Amerigo's Amati violin I found?
Why, of course... What do you mean?
What if it wasn't? What if it was just an imitation?
John, stop it. That's What do you mean?
That $30,000 well-insured fiddle I picked up in the South Jersey swamps may be a phony.
Oh, no. For heaven's sakes, come over here to the office and tell me...
Oh, take it easy, Harold boy, until I've had time to find out a few things.
John?
See ya.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to the Philadelphia Mutual Liability and Casualty Company. Following is a final accounting of expenditures incurred during my investigation of the Ricardo Amerigo matter. When Ricardo Amerigo's car was hauled out of a swamp somewhere near Port Morris, New Jersey, there was no sign of his body. Only a sawed-through steering arm on the car that indicated somebody had done him dirt. However, I did find the fiddle, the $30,000 Amati that had helped him become one of the world's top concert violinists. Anyhow, with the fiddle under my arm, I ended up at the shop of violin maker Eric Snowden for final confirmation that it was the genuine Amati that I'd found. This Eric confirmed. However, while we were in the second-floor workroom of his shop on Eisminger Street talking about the fiddle, somebody pounded on the street door downstairs.
Oh, bother. I'll be back in a moment, Mr. Dollar.
And that's when I accidentally, and so help me it was accidental, I knocked open the door of a cabinet and discovered another violin, identical in every respect with the one I'd found in the swamp at the scene of Amerigo's accidental death. Okay, so I did exactly what you would have done. I put the one in the cabinet into Amerigo's case and the one from the case into the cabinet. One of them was the genuine Amati. But which one?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dollar, but he was so insistent. I thought he was one of my, shall we say, better clients. As it turned out, it was just a youngster who wanted to see one of the new G-strings.
A youngster?
Oh, I see you're joking. But now, let me take this magnificent instrument, readjust the sound post and bridge so that...
No, wait, Mr. Snowden. It's later than I thought. There are some things I must do immediately. Suppose I come back here later.
Very well. Meantime, I shall make the adjustments on the Amati to restore its tone.
No, I've got to take it with me.
But I don't understand.
There are a few things in this case I don't understand right this minute, but I hope to before very long.
Mr. Dollar, you talk in riddles. Why don't you leave the violin?
No, thanks. I'll see you later.
But please be careful with it. If anything should happen to that priceless...
Don't worry. Nothing will happen to it. I found that I'd almost spoken too soon, for I pounded down the stairs, across the floor of the store, and out of the door without the caution the book says one should exercise when leaving a suspect in a case. I'd no sooner got out on the street... It was a flower pot big enough to have killed a horse in its fall from the upper story window ledge.
Oh, no. Good heavens, wait, Mr. Dollar. That was an accident.
But I didn't wait. Expense account item 14, 10 cents. Phone call to Harry Branson at the insurance company to have the police put a man on Eric Snowden's shop immediately to make sure he wouldn't try to skip. Item 15, $7.50 for a cab to the house of fiddle-playing Jerry Goldsmith out in Lanark.
Mr. Dollar.
Hello, Goldsmith.
I didn't expect it. But you left in rather a hurry earlier.
Sorry, I had to keep a date. Hey, look, Jerry, when I was here before...
You still have the violin?
Yes, when I was here earlier and you played it, you didn't seem to think it was really Ricardo Amerigo's Amati.
No, I didn't say that. At least
at least it didn't sound like it when you played it.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, that's right.
Oh, now, think a minute. You were a bit upset, excited, whatever you want to call it, when I brought it to you.
Yes, that's true. Nevertheless...
And I think you were also afraid I might have suspected you of Amerigo's murder when you admitted his violin was the one thing you wanted more than anything else in life.
Except, of course, to have Ricardo straighten out. Become himself again. Become the artist again. Deserve to have this... Oh, I don't know. Whatever I say seems to make it sound like a... I don't know.
All right, now, look, Jerry, calm down, will you? I'm not trying to pin a murder rap on you. Calm down and do something for me, will you?
Why, yes, of course. What?
Here.
Have you had something done to it to restore the tone it used to
It
have?
hasn't been touched by anyone else since I laid my hands on it. But I want you to play it again.
Yes, of course I will. But didn't you say that some old fool with a music store cleaned it up?
Jerry, it hasn't been touched by anyone else since I laid my hands on it. Now play it.
All right.
Go ahead, Jerry. It's the Amati, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's the Amati. A beautiful, wonderful...
Funny. I never realized what a violin could. Can you hear me, Jerry?
Yes. Yes.
And to think it's taken something like this to lead me to a killer. Expense account item 16, 420. Cab to Philadelphia Mutual, the office of Harry Branson.
But if you're right, John, you mustn't go out there alone. Don't you understand? If he's the man who planned the murder of Ricardo Amerigo, he wouldn't stop... Yes, I had the police put a man out there to cover his shop. But, John, I still think it...
Expense account item 17, $1.60. The buck was a tip for going through a couple of red lights. Back to the shop of the violin maker, Eric Snowden.
Mr. Dollar.
Hi, Mr. Snowden. I'm afraid I left you rather abruptly a while ago.
You mentioned it, Mr. Dollar. It's you. That near accident when you left that flower pot. I don't know how it possibly could have shifted on the window ledge up there.
On the third floor window ledge of this little combination store, workshop, and home of yours. That much I did notice while I was ducking it. If it had come off a second floor window, you know I might have suspected you of giving it a helpful shove.
Oh, good heavens, Mr. Dollar. You can't possibly mean that.
All right, forget it for the moment.
But how can
Let's go up to your workshop on the second floor. Come on.
Well, yes, of course. But may I ask why?
I want to show you something, and I think you know what.
No, I certainly don't. Unless something has happened to the Amati.
Oh, something certainly has.
You damaged it since you were here.
No such luck. You.
Mr. Dollar, please, what are you talking about?
Okay, here. Now tell me the truth. Is this Ricardo Amerigo's Amati violin?
Yes. I've told you so.
You're sure?
Of course I'm sure.
You know something? You aren't, but I am.
What?
Now open that cabinet there beside your work table.
What for?
Because I tell you to.
But I... just what are you getting at, Dollar?
Are you going to open it or shall I?
No. Get out of here. This is my shop, my place. You can't do this sort of thing to me.
Would you rather the police did? They're on their way.
The police? But I...
Well?
There's no need to open it. Ricardo Amerigo's Amati is in it.
Well, that's where you're wrong. This is the Amati. In this case, the one in the cabinet is the identical copy of the Amati that you made.
Yes, Mr. Dollar.
Why, Snowden?
Because the loss of this priceless instrument would have been unthinkable.
$30,000 insurance on it.
Oh, money doesn't buy a violin like this. It must be played by an artist, by many artists, like the artist Ricardo was. So when Ricardo disappeared...
Or was murdered?
When Ricardo disappeared, I had to make sure that the Amati would still... I didn't murder him.
Isn't this the hacksaw that cut the steering rod on his car? Well, Snowden, isn't it?
Yes. No, I mean...
And because of it and your crazy plan to keep the real Amati, you and you alone are going to take the rap for Amerigo's murder.
No, please. Ricky.
No use, Eric. That's right, Mr. Dollar. I'm Ricardo Amerigo.
You're what?
The dirty, drunken has-been that started all this. Sawed through the steering rod on my car, wrecked it in the swamp, Left some of my clothing there. That phony fiddle was my idea. Not to collect the insurance on it, not that alone. But to make sure it could come back again. Be played again by somebody that deserved to play it. The way perhaps one time I deserved to play it.
But, Ricardo...
A man disappears, murder, or whatever. There's a fuss about it for a while, and it's over. But this, no, this must live. This violin, it will now. And the world will be the better for it.
But you... and this apparent murder...
The insurance was my last hope of paying back Pete Corbin, my agent, and the others who tried so hard to straighten me out. Pay back some of the money and the heartbreak they spent on me. Or let your insurance company pay them back. Because I never could. I couldn't even leave my hiding place here in Eric's house. Because I knew that sooner or later he'd pity me enough to give me more of the drink that's been all I've been living for. Eric, God bless him, Eric knew, of course, but only he. Be kind to him, if you can.
Ricky.
That's all, Mr. Dollar. Oh, unless... will you buy me a drink before you call in the police?
Expense account item 17, $8.50. One bottle of the best I could buy before I called in the police. Item 18, hotel in Philadelphia, miscellaneous fare back to Hartford. Total expense account, $182.65. Remarks? No insurance payment necessary on either the Amati or the man. And I guess he really was a man. More than he knew. What the courts will do about him and about Eric Snowden, well, the courts will do. And I'm glad I have to have no part in it. You know, it's funny. Somehow I think I have a little better appreciation for music now than... oh, well. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Remember, there'll be another intriguing story for you beginning next Monday night.
Next week, the Duke Red matter. A racehorse that could only be stopped by a killer. And the killer didn't stop with horses. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote this week's story. Heard in the cast were Harry Bartell, Lawrence Dobkin, Victor Perrin, Barney Phillips, Forrest Lewis, Eric Snowden, Herb Vigran, and James McCallion. Musical supervisor and violinist, Amerigo Marino. Be sure to join us on Monday night, same time and station, for another exciting story of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Roy Rowan speaking.
Johnny Dollar.
John, this is Harry Branson at
Philadelphia Mutual Liability and Casualty Insurance Company.
What?
Well?
Well, yes, of course. Where else would I be?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we better give that a little thought, huh?
Yes, perhaps. Oh, now, John, I wish you wouldn't do this. It confuses confuses me so.
All right, Harry, don't let it throw you.
But every time I call you up on some serious insurance matter, you start this nonsensical, well, why waste time discussing it?
To say nothing of the money for this long-distance call.
Exactly.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye, no.
Well, which is it?
Oh, please, John, please, this is very important.
I'm sure it is, Harry.
You must come down here and see me right away.
Well, what's the trouble?
Well, one of my clients, a gentleman by the name of Eustace Pennybank.
Pennybank.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Isn't he that bug chaser, that butterfly collector who hit all the picture magazines a few years ago?
Butterfly chaser, indeed. He's one of the greatest entomological researchers in the country today.
I'm sure he is.
Entomology, John, is a branch of zoology dealing with insects.
Well, what happened? One of his bugs get loose and take a nip out of him?
Oh, far worse than that, John. From what he told me on the phone, the work of his whole career, perhaps even his very life, is being threatened.
Threatened by whom?
I don't know. But if you'll fly on down right away, I'll have him meet you here in my office and tell you himself. Now, according to this time...
All right, Harry, all right. Just keep your shirt on. I'll be there.
The CBS Radio Network brings you Bob Reddick in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Philadelphia Mutual Liability and Casualty Insurance Company in Philadelphia. Where else? Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Latroductus matter. Expense account item 1, $25.25. Taxi to Bradley Field, a plane to Philadelphia, and then a cab into Harry's office on Walnut Street. There he introduced me to a tall, gaunt, gray-haired man in his 60s, whose almost green eyes were as sharp and piercing as any I'd ever seen. In his own way, he made no bones about being quite an authority in his field.
Understand this, Mr. Dollar. The results of my research always have been, always will be, of inestimable value to the scientific world.
No question of it, John.
Mr. Branson.
Dr. Pennybank is without question one of the finest, the most famous for his work among the
Mr. Branson, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Harry, let the doctor tell it his own way.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, I insist upon it. And without further interruption, Mr. Branson.
Well, I was only trying to make clear that I was, Yes.
Yes. In my safe at my home are literally priceless records resulting from my researches in toxicology.
That is to say, poisons, John. You see, the doctor
Branson?
here... Sorry.
Go on, Doctor.
You see, I alone was able to determine that the South Jersey cattle killings some years ago were accomplished with the venom of Gistrodon moccasin.
With what, sir?
Of course, I must pardon your ignorance of such matters.
Oh, please do.
I proved that the killers of that unfortunate dairy herd used the deadly venom of the snake known as a copperhead.
Copperhead.
Believe me, sir, no one else would have been capable of differentiating it from the poison of, say, Gistrodon piscivorus. The water moccasin, as any child should know.
Fascinating, Dr. Pennybank.
That, Mr. Dollar, was before I decided to devote my unique talents solely to entomology, particularly to study and classification of the various arachnida.
Arachnida.
A rather profuse class of the order Araneida.
Well, I'm afraid you're still over my head, Doctor.
I don't doubt it. The Araneida comprise a small part of the insect world.
Oh, I see.
I doubt it.
Well, I try.
Suffice it to say, however, I have produced findings and maintained the necessary records that are of international importance in these troubled times.
Of course.
And someone has been after them. Although I've seen no visible sign, I'm certain that attempts have been made to enter my home, my laboratory, several times, and always at night.
Well, if the findings on these insects or poisons or whatever are of international importance, why not turn them over to some government agency?
Of course, I shall, after I have completed my research, checked and double-checked everything. Meanwhile, I must have all these records, these papers, immediately accessible.
Well, what about having copies made that can be kept in, say, a bank vault?
Well, that would incur the risk of having the information they contain leak out through whoever made the copies.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Meanwhile, by way of protection, I have isolated a select group of the genus Latroductus.
What?
Latroductus. Good heavens, man, don't you know anything?
All right. Latroductus.
However, if my watch is correct, I must go now.
Tell me this, Doctor. Aren't you taking a chance leaving your place to come here and talk to me?
I left my place. It's in Kinwood, you know.
Kinwood's one of our suburbs, John.
Yes, I know.
Please, I left not to come here and see you. You will come and see me this evening. Mr. Branson will give you the address. I left only because I must make a luncheon speech before a group at the Academy of Science, whether they like it or not. I am late for it now, Mr. Dollar. I will see you this evening.
Oh, now wait, please.
I
Doctor.
am late.
But I got the idea from Harry that you yourself might be in danger.
That's right. They would stop at nothing to get at my records. That's why I must see you this evening, Mr. Dollar.
Now wait, just a minute, please. Dr. Penny... Harry, are you sure this famous man of yours hasn't become just an old crackpot?
John, how can you?
Well, perhaps he was a great brain once, but now?
Well, they wrote him up in all those picture magazines.
Some years ago.
But, of course, my concern is over the $50,000 policy we've written on his life.
Oh? Who's the beneficiary?
Several scientific organizations and a niece by the name of Clara Benson.
Well, if somebody is trying to get at him, which I doubt, maybe I better check up on her. Meantime, give me his address. Item 2, $1 for a cab to the Bellevue Stratford where I parked my bag. Item 3, $2.85 for lunch. Item 4, $50 deposit on a rental car. I did a little sightseeing by way of killing time, and then about 3 p.m., figuring Dr. Pennybank had had plenty of time to finish his lecture on the birds and bees and get back to his home, I drove out to the address in Kinwood. The house was a small affair of weathered stone surrounded by poplar and maple trees, a garage at the rear. As I walked up the steps, I heard a door close in the back, so I knew he'd returned. That's funny. Dr. Pennybank? Don't tell me that he's left again. That's funny. Unlocked. Well. Hello? Anybody home? Dr. Penny... Dr. Pennybank. Doctor? Good Lord.
Repeat after me, please. What do you want when you need bran?
What do you want when you need bran?
Reliability.
Reliability.
Now, what do you get in Kellogg's All Bran?
What do you get in Kellogg's All Bran? Reliability.
Right. Hi, this is Dennis James to explain why Kellogg's Way is the reliable way to get the effectiveness you want from bran with just half a cup a day. See, Kellogg's All Bran is the real Battle Creek formula, the one that millions of people depend on. And they depend on it because Kellogg's All Bran contains more vital bran bulk to help you keep regular. It's low in calories, and it's mighty pleasant eating, too. Kellogg's All Bran comes in crisp, toasted shreds that have a wholesome bran muffin taste. I think you'll like it. So be sure you remember, for the effectiveness you want from bran, get reliable Kellogg's All Bran.
That's what you get in Kellogg's All Bran. Reliability.
Dr. Pennybank was dead, all right. 2 bullets through the chest had taken care of that. That car, the one that pulled away from the back, one of the brand new compact models in a dark green, at least I'd seen that much. But as for license number, or whoever was in it, why hadn't I really taken a good look at it? What I did take a good look at, though, was Pennybank's laboratory in a wing at the far end of the hall. The laboratory was alive, with more varieties of bugs and beetles, butterflies and moths, roaches, spiders, and scorpions that I'd never seen before. They were in little clear plastic cages, row after row of them, all about the sides of the room, piled up sometimes 10, 12, 15 high, neatly in groups of each kind. And all the insects were alive. There were sacks and boxes, even a small refrigerator full of 1,000 different kinds of food for them. And the sound as they scratched, or walked, or fluttered, or simply rubbed their wings together. Well, it was a strange sound, and I felt strangely uncomfortable. Some of them, especially the moths and some of the spiders, were very beautiful. On one of the tiny cages, I saw the word the doctor had used. Latroductus. And under it, the words, Black Widow. That cage was empty. Well, so much for spiders. I had a gunshot murder on my hands. I started toward the telephone in the hall to put in a call to the police when I heard heavy footsteps outside the front door, which I'd closed but not locked. The steps sounded cautious. I drew my gun, slipped to one side to be in back of the door if it was opened. And through the frosted glass, I could see the shadow of a man. Then, as he gently pushed open the door, I rushed him.
Okay, brother. Oh, you don't. The gun out of my hand, will you?
Just hold it there, officer.
Who are you?
I'm sorry about the rough stuff, officer. I thought you were his killer, coming back to make sure he'd done the job right.
Killer? What are you talking about? Who are you?
Here, you better see my credentials.
Yeah.
I'm Johnny Dollar, special investigator. Here.
Okay. So it looks okay, but don't you know better than to jump a cop?
Well, I'll tell you
What was
this.
that crack about a killer?
Look for yourself, over there.
What?
And here. You better have your gun.
Hey, Dollar. It's Dr. Pennybank.
That's right.
Dead?
Dead.
Well, I guess that means only one thing.
You think you know who might have done it?
Yes, sir. In other words, now it's my turn. That's right, Dollar, whatever your name is. Now, you and me are going to take a little ride into headquarters.
I suppose I couldn't blame him. Officer Folland, I mean. But at headquarters, where my prints and identification were thoroughly looked into, he ended up apologizing to me. Meanwhile, a lab crew went out and took a look at Dr. Pennybank's body, and then hauled it in for the autopsy required by law. The first report stated only that he'd been killed instantly at close range with a .25 caliber Colt automatic. No clues whatsoever to his killer.
And he kept very much to himself, Dollar.
Well, now, Sergeant.
We found that out when he asked us to have somebody check in on him now and then if there was anything unusual around. You know, like Officer Folland saw your car parked out front.
I see.
Only traces of anybody else that we could find.
Yeah?
Some things belonging to the cleaning woman who used to go in once a week, and some clothing and stuff that belongs to his niece.
Clara Benson.
Yes, sir, that pretty young widow. She used to drop in on him, cook him a good meal, spend the night now and then.
Do you have her address?
Yes, sir. We're trying to get in touch with her now, tell her the bad news.
Only I'd taken a really good look at the car that pulled away when I got there.
Well, it's too bad you didn't, because your description could fit at least a couple of thousand cars here in the Philadelphia area. What I'd like to find is that little gun that was used. But, of course, unless we do, and it has some prints on it.
One of his belt loops was torn, as though a keychain had been ripped off.
No sign of any keychain, Dollar. The boys went over the place, even that crazy laboratory with a fine-tooth comb.
Tell me, Sergeant, have you checked on that cleaning woman you mentioned?
She's been laid up in the hospital the past couple of weeks. Still is.
Well, that lets her out.
Yeah. No, she freely admitted she was fed up with that cantankerous old crackpot and all these bugs, same as anybody else in his right mind would be. But, Dollar, she's in the clear. Hey, those bugs. Millions of them.
Latroductus.
What, sir?
For protection, he'd said.
What did you say?
Latroductus. And, Sergeant, it's suddenly given me a really wild hunch.
Like what?
Just give me an address, and I'll see you later.
This is Arthur Godfrey. Many people ask me questions about cancer. Well, knowing the correct answers to some of these questions could actually help you save your life. I want you to get in touch with your unit of the American Cancer Society and get a free booklet of life-saving facts. And I want you to do something else to help conquer cancer. And research can do that if all of us will help. We have to dig down deep. When an American Cancer Society volunteer, someone you know perhaps, calls on you, be sure you give generously.
Thank you, Arthur. For that free booklet of life-saving facts, write or phone your unit of the American Cancer Society. And as Arthur Godfrey suggested, to help conquer the disease, give generously when an American Cancer Society volunteer, your neighbor, calls on you.
The lovely young widow, Clara Benson, there at her modest little apartment, was just exactly that. Lovely. Tall, black-haired, with a complexion that other girls can only dream about. A very plain, black sheath dress couldn't hide her beautiful figure. The kind you don't write home about. Although obviously upset, she controlled herself well. But her dark eyes were red from weeping.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, the policeman came and told me all about it. Why, oh, why does a terrible thing like this have to happen to a nice, fine old man like Uncle Eustace?
I wish I knew.
And he wasn't senile or any of those other things people said. He was just trying to prove he was still a great scientist.
And you have no idea who might have done it, Clara?
Oh, no, Johnny. May I call you Johnny?
I wish you would.
Thank you. No, I don't see how anyone could have murdered him. What if it was a little peculiar that his whole life was wrapped up in all those bugs and things, that he spent all his time and money on them? Was he doing any harm to anyone?
Well, from what he told me, Clara, your uncle seemed to think he was on the track of something very important, something worth a great deal of money.
What was it, Johnny?
You don't know?
Oh, I understood that some of the men who came to see him now and then wanted to give him money for the reports he kept hidden away.
What men? Do you know who they were?
Just people who came to see him.
Reports hidden away, hidden where?
I don't know, Johnny. I don't care.
Did any of the people that you mentioned ever approach you about these important papers?
Me? Why should they?
That is your car I saw out front, isn't it?
Yes, that poor, dear old beat-up. Oh, no, Johnny.
What?
The policeman told me about the car you saw. Surely you didn't think it could have been mine, that I could possibly... Oh, no. Do I look like the kind who could... Oh, no, that's a horrible thought. How dare you think that? Oh, I'm sorry, Johnny, but I'm so upset. And I feel so alone. First it was Ralph, my husband, and now my uncle, and I'm sorry.
Now, how did your husband die, Clara?
Some awful hit-and-run driver. They never did find out. And, Johnny, I'm so alone now.
If I knew where he'd hidden those papers, I wonder if they'd be any key to this whole thing.
I don't know, but how could they? Where could they be?
Well, maybe if I can get out this way and tomorrow, maybe I'll kind of look around his house again.
Tomorrow?
I left my bag in at the Bellevue Stratford in town.
I will see you again, won't I, Johnny?
Sure. And now things were adding up. Item, cui bono. Who benefits? Apparently none but this beautiful, black-haired young widow. Item, who did kill her husband? But we better let that one pass. Yet the gun that killed the doctor was .25 caliber. A woman's gun? Could be. Item, those valuable papers. The doctor had mentioned a safe, possibly a wall safe. So what about the keys that were taken from his body? Item, Latroductus. Black Widow. Pennybank had said for protection. And then another hunch. Somehow I didn't feel that shoddy, beat-up old car went with Clara's personality. It was getting late, but I started hunting up nearby used car lots. And luck was with me. At my third stop, I found the dealer who'd sold her that old wreck. And when? That very afternoon.
Oh, mister, why she'd trade in this nice new green compact here for that old thing is beyond me. But why she'd complain with what I
Now, that cinched it for me. I drove on back to Clara's apartment, and as I fully expected, she wasn't there. I tore on out to her uncle's home. It was after dark now, but I parked well over a block away and approached the place quietly. Under one of the drawn shades, I could see there was a light on somewhere inside. The front door, as I thought it might be, was locked, but I managed to jimmy a window in the laboratory wing. Inside, nothing but the sounds of the insects. Carefully feeling my way, trying to remember the layout of the house from prowling around in the afternoon, I looked for the source of the light. It was coming from the kitchen. And as I approached it through the hallway, at the far side, I could see a door, an open door, leading down to a lighted basement. And below, I could hear the ring of keys against metal, the turning of a lock. The wall safe. I could hear it clank open. And then, gun in hand, as I was about to sneak on down the stairs. Clara!
No, take her away! Take her away from me! Get away! Get away! Oh, no! Oh, no!
Clara! But by the time I could reach her side and beat them away, she had fallen unconscious. She'd been struck by tens, by scores of them, on her hands, on her arms, struck down by the beautiful, deadly protectors of that safe. Latroductus. Black widows. Clara died within minutes, before I could possibly get help. And the papers she'd killed her uncle to obtain? Nothing. Nothing but the confused scribblings of a demented old man. Expense account total, including the trip back to Hartford, $111.35. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, one of the toughest gangs I ever had to deal with. A gang of kids, a rat pack. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Reddick, is written by Jack Johnstone, produced and directed by Bruno Zerato, Jr. Musical supervision by Ethel Huber. Heard in our cast were Lawson Zerby as Dr. Pennybank, Elaine Rost as Clara Benson, Robert Dryden as Harry Branson, Ralph Bell as the police sergeant, and Jack Grimes as Officer Folland. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Art Hanna speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum, the refreshing, delicious treat that gives you chewing enjoyment, presents for your listening enjoyment John Lund as
Johnny Dollar.
Roger Stern, Dollar.
Oh, hello, Mr. Stern. What can I do for you?
We insure Mr. James Forbes. He was killed last night. It looks like an accident, but there's always the chance it might not be. Can you take the job?
Sure. How about the details?
Well, come on down to the office as soon as you can, and I'll give you what we've got.
I'll catch the first train out.
the makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum bring you John Lund in another adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
For refreshing taste, plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself to delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. When your mouth and throat feel hot and dry, a stick of Wrigley's Spearmint gives you quick, long-lasting refreshment. The lively, full-bodied spearmint flavor cools your mouth and freshens your taste. The chewing itself helps keep your throat pleasantly moist. Best of all, you can chew and enjoy refreshing Wrigley's Spearmint Gum almost any time and any place. Keep a package handy right in your purse or pocket so you can chew a stick whenever you want it. For refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself to delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Millions enjoy it, and you will too.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Intercontinental Indemnity and Bonding Corporation, New York City. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the James Forbes matter. Expense account item 1, $13.95, train fare and incidentals between Hartford and New York City. After receiving from you the details regarding the death of James Forbes, I registered at the Madison Hotel and went directly to the 5th Precinct Police Station and interviewed Lieutenant Arthur Parkhill, who was handling the case.
Well, there really isn't much more to tell, Mr. Dollar, other than what you know.
You're convinced it was an accident?
I'm convinced he fell over the edge of a 110-foot cliff, that it looks like an accident. Certainly doesn't mean the case is closed, but so far there's no motive for murder.
There's a wife.
Yeah?
Mr. Forbes had quite a bit of money.
Well, that's an understatement. Mr. Forbes was loaded.
And Mrs. Forbes gets everything, including a $500,000 insurance policy.
Look, that's the first thing we considered, but just because a husband's got money and a great big fat insurance policy...
Now, wait a minute. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job.
And we've checked the wife. Checked her good. The way it looks, she liked being married. She was in love with her husband. When he went over the cliff, she was in the house. 4 servants can swear to it.
He just fell over the cliff.
According to everything we can find out, he took long walks every night along the cliffs by the ocean. Last night it was unusually foggy. Certainly possible he got too close to the edge, missed his footing, and did a high dive.
How about suicide?
Uh-uh. At least there's no reason we can come up with. Good health, business doing better than it ever has.
Textiles, isn't it?
Yeah, biggest in the country. There's absolutely nothing that indicates suicide, especially no suicide note. There usually is.
Uh-huh. The Forbes estate is out on the island, isn't it?
Yeah. Gonna take a run up?
Yeah, I thought I might. Well, thanks for your help. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Dollar. Let me know if you come across anything.
Expense account item 2, 75 cents. Cab fare to a garage where I rented a car and drove out to the island. The Forbes mansion stood in the middle of a lot of acreage along the shore at the northeastern tip.
Yes?
I'd like to see Mrs. Forbes, please.
I'm afraid Mrs. Forbes is seeing no one.
Tell her Mr. Dollar is here. I believe Mr. Stern from my company called Mrs. Forbes and told her I was coming out.
Mr. Dollar?
That's right.
If you'll wait a moment.
Sure. Take your time.
Mrs. Forbes will see you, Mr. Dollar. Mrs. Forbes was expecting you, but neglected to tell me. Mr. Dollar, ma'am.
Come in, Mr. Dollar. I'm Mrs. Forbes.
How do you do?
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Mr. Stern called, said you were coming out. He seemed to think it was necessary.
Yes, routine. Unfortunately, in a matter like this...
I understand.
Better to get it over with.
I suppose so.
Just a few questions. What time did Mr. Forbes leave the house last night?
Right after dinner, around 9.
I understand he was in the habit of taking walks.
Yes.
Last night was the same as any other night.
Yes.
He seemed all right?
He was fine. Wonderful spirits.
Who found him?
The police.
Did you call them?
Yes, after he'd been gone longer than usual, I began to worry. By 12 o'clock, I sent William, my butler, out in the car to look for him. When William returned, I had him call the police. They didn't find him until morning.
You're convinced it was an accident?
My husband didn't commit suicide, Mr. Dollar.
Did he have any enemies?
No. No one killed him, Mr. Dollar. Now, if you don't mind, I really don't feel too well.
Of course. There's just one more thing.
Yes?
I'd like to take a look at the place, the The spot.
I'll have William show you.
Thanks.
I'm sorry I can't be of more help, Mr. Dollar, but there's really nothing to help you with. My husband was killed in an accident. He wasn't murdered, and he didn't commit suicide. My husband was a fine and wonderful man. I loved him very much.
Of course.
I'll call William and have him show you the way down to the cliffs. It's been nice meeting you.
This is a terrible thing, William.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with the Forbes?
10 years, sir.
Theirs was a good marriage.
Oh, yes, sir. About another 100 yards, sir. Now, you can stop here. Right over here, sir. They found Mr. Forbes right down there, sir.
Long drop.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess under the right circumstances, it'd be pretty easy to miss your footing along here.
It was very foggy last night.
Yeah. Well, come on. I'll drive you back.
Mr. Dollar. Mr. Dollar, I don't know quite how to say this. I've nothing ready to go on except, well, I'm not convinced that Mr. Forbes' death was an accident.
Why aren't you?
It's hard to say. Until this morning, until sometime after they found him, I didn't think it could be anything else. When the police questioned me, I didn't even consider another possibility. But Mr. Forbes has been taking walks at night every night ever since I came to work. He's walked in all kinds of weather. He knew those cliffs from one end to the other.
Well, people take showers in the same shower year after year, and still a certain percentage of them slip and break their necks.
It's not just the walks and the fact that Mr. Forbes was so familiar with these cliffs. It's a lot of little things that have happened over the past 2 or 3 months. Nothing really definite. Telephone calls.
What kind of telephone calls?
Several times Mrs. Forbes has made calls. Several times I happened to overhear part of the conversations. They were affectionate.
Affectionate?
Yes, I thought she was talking to Mr. Forbes, but several times I discovered through dinner conversations between Mr. and Mrs. Forbes that she hadn't spoken to him during the day that he'd been out of the city. Well, it's really awfully hard to explain.
Just how affectionate were these calls?
Quite affectionate.
You think Mrs. Forbes has been playing around?
I don't know, sir. But in the last few months, when Mr. Forbes left, she'd informed me she was going to town to visit with friends. And she'd very seldom return until the day before Mr. Forbes was supposed to be back from his trip. Why, on one of these occasions, Mrs. Weatherwax, the woman Mrs. Forbes was supposed to be visiting, came to the house calling on Mrs. Forbes. Well, from her conversation, I gathered she hadn't seen Mrs. Forbes for some time.
Did you say anything about it?
To whom? To Mr. Forbes? Certainly not. I didn't think that much about it at the time.
Anything else?
No, sir. But I suddenly felt that I must tell someone. Sir, if Mrs. Forbes should find out, she'd surely dismiss me, and I couldn't blame her.
I won't say anything.
Thank you, sir.
Well, come on. We'd better start back.
I do hope I haven't started something I'll be sorry for.
Do me a favor.
Well, certainly.
If Mrs. Forbes gets any more of those phone calls, see if you can find out who's on the other end of the line.
I'll try.
You can reach me at the Madison Hotel.
Yes, sir.
I drove William back to the house, then headed for the city. It was close to 5 o'clock when I got back to my hotel and called Lieutenant Parkhill. I told him about my conversation with the butler, and he was interested. He agreed to do some more checking on Mrs. Forbes' friends, especially the men. Expense account item 3, $7.50, dinner. After which I took a short walk, then returned to my hotel to get a good night's sleep. I was just turning off the light when the phone rang. Johnny Dollar.
This is William, Mr. Dollar, the Forbes butler.
Oh, yes, William.
Mrs. Forbes received a phone call about half an hour ago.
You find out who he is?
No, sir.
Well, that's not going to help much.
I thought you could discover his identity.
How could I do that?
Mrs. Forbes just left the house. I overheard her agree to meet the party in the city.
Where in the city?
Well, I don't know, but I thought you could intercept Mrs. Forbes as she comes off the George Washington Bridge.
William, you have the soul of a Sherlock.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Forbes is driving the gray Cadillac sedan. License number 6A31593.
Friends, no matter what kind of work you do, it's a real help to chew delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum right while you're working. When you're warm or tired, for instance, the lively, full-bodied spearmint flavor is really refreshing. It helps keep your mouth and throat feeling cool and moist. Chewing on that smooth, good-tasting piece of Wrigley's Spearmint makes the time pass more pleasantly, too. It seems to make your work go smoother and easier. Keep a package or two of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum handy all the time. Enjoy chewing Wrigley's Spearmint while you're working and at other times. That's Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious. And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar.
It took me 5 minutes to get back into my clothes and make it down to my car. 20 minutes after that, I was parking at the city-side entrance of the Washington Bridge, waiting for Mrs. Forbes to show up in her gray Cadillac. I waited about a half hour. She came off the bridge doing a little better than the speed limit and turned south. I started tailing her. I stayed about a block behind, and Mrs. Forbes led me across town. Suddenly, at the corner of 41st and 5th, she pulled up to the curb and a man stepped up to the car, quickly opened the door, and climbed in. They drove away, and I continued to follow. I followed for about another hour while Mrs. Forbes just drove around, obviously headed for no place in particular, just talking things over with her passenger. About 11:30, she made a left turn, cut back across town, and pulled up in front of an address on 108th Street. Her passenger got out, said something, threw her a kiss, and went into the building. After Mrs. Forbes had driven out of sight, I went down to the building the man had entered and looked through the glass door. He was going into an apartment at the end of the hall. I checked the apartment number, 1D. The nameplate on the mailbox outside was Roger Phillips.
I don't know Roger Phillips, Dollar. Name's familiar, though. I'll check on it. Where are you?
In a drugstore on the corner. Hey.
What?
Cab just pulled up in front.
Of the drugstore?
No, 953 East. I can see it through the... Hold it.
What?
I'll call you later, Lieutenant. My man just came out. He's getting into the cab. Goodbye. The cab was 2 blocks away and turning left by the time I was able to follow. It led me across town to the waterfront in a small, tired saloon named the Blue Toad. I watched while my man paid off his driver, then I followed him into the dive. The Blue Toad was one room, a few tables and a bar. The customers were off the waterfront, seamen, stevedores, and bums with saltwater faces and an occasional tattoo. The air smelled like stale beer, live bait, and bad tobacco. I watched my man cut his way through the heavy blue haze and sit down. Another man sat at the table, a short man with a dark face. I found a table near the door, gave my order to a waiter with a crusty apron, and relaxed to see what was going to happen.
Hello?
Huh? Oh.
You alone?
Oh. Yeah, but I'm,
Buy me a drink, huh?
Sure. Well, what'll it be?
Champagne. Doesn't that get a laugh?
Was it supposed to?
Well, if I was a nice-looking guy, wearing a nice-looking suit, and I just walked into this dump and a dame like me ordered champagne, oh, forget it. I was just trying to start a conversation.
You started it.
I work on a percentage. Buy me a scotch and I'll leave you alone.
Relax. I'm not expecting anybody.
Thanks.
You got any influence with the waiter? I ordered a drink 10 minutes ago.
He's probably out in the alley. He's not well. About this time of night, he can't stand the smoke and goes out to stock up on fresh air. He'll be right back.
What's your name?
Jane. Yours should be, Mike? Or Bill? Yeah, you look kind of like a Mike.
Why?
I don't know. Feeling you get when you look at some people. Some people look like certain names.
It's Johnny.
Johnny?
Doesn't fit?
I guess so. Who are you watching, Johnny?
What makes you think I'm watching somebody?
Because you are. You've been watching those two guys in the back.
Okay.
Cop?
Uh-uh.
The good-looking one just passed Timmy a bundle of money.
You know the little dark guy?
Forget it, huh?
Tell me about Timmy.
Tell me about Johnny.
I'm not a cop.
Nope. A cop would know all about Timmy. The good-looking one's leaving.
I'm interested in Timmy.
And Timmy or the money he just got?
Both.
You're not a stick-up man, Johnny.
Not a bit.
I'd like to help, but Timmy finds out about things. Timmy's a bad boy. Hasn't got a friend in the world. Not even me. You leaving?
Yeah. Oh, here. Buy some champagne.
Thanks. Bye, Johnny.
Outside, the air was fresh and clean. I got into my car, lit a cigarette, and waited for the dark little man named Timmy to come out. In about 5 minutes, he did. He crossed the street and climbed into a car. He drove west, and I followed. About 10 blocks later, I stopped and watched Timmy park in an all-night garage, then crossed to a hotel called the Bayview. He went in. I found a phone and called Lieutenant Parkhill.
Timmy?
About 5'9", dark complexion, dresses a little too sharp.
Timmy Collins.
Now, what about him?
Bad boy.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Assassin, but nobody's been able to prove it. I didn't even know he was in town. He shouldn't be.
Why not?
Oh, it was an old rap. Forgery.
You find anything on Roger Phillips?
Oh, yeah. Socialite playboy. Makes the columns about once or twice a week. Never very flattering.
Does he know Mrs. Forbes?
Oh, he might. Runs around in that circle. He's been in town for about a year now. He comes from...
What's the matter?
Just gonna say he comes from Cleveland.
Yeah?
Just remembered. So does Timmy Collins.
Did you check on Phillips in Cleveland?
Now, the kickback hasn't come in yet. Won't get it till tomorrow morning. Only thing we've got on him here is what I've already told you.
What are you going to do about Timmy?
Let him alone for a while. Stake out the hotel, see what he's up to. What are you going to do?
Go back to my hotel and get some sleep. I'm bushed.
And I'll talk to you in the morning.
Yeah. Expense account item 4, $2.65. Breakfast the next morning with Lieutenant Parkhill at a waffle shop across the street from the precinct.
Roger Phillips skipped Cleveland owing a lot of money. The Cleveland report gives him a clean police record, but one thing's pretty interesting. Most of the money he owed was for gambling debts. Owed it to Timmy Collins.
Huh.
Unless we've wandered too far out in left field, I got a hunch Timmy killed Forbes. Met him on that lonely road by the cliffs and gave him a shove.
Yeah, I have the same hunch. Mrs. Forbes falls for Phillips, and together they plan to eliminate the husband. Phillips makes a deal with Timmy, maybe agrees to give him a big interest on the debt when he marries Mrs. Forbes and gets his hands into all that money. Does Phillips have enough money to pay for a job like that?
Well, if he doesn't, he probably borrowed it from Mrs. Forbes.
It was a big stack of bills. Why don't you check with Mrs. Forbes' banks and see if she withdrew a large amount in the last couple of days?
Yeah, right. Or, want some more coffee?
No, I think I'll make a call on Roger Phillips. Maybe I can force this thing out in the open.
What are you going to tell him?
Enough to scare him, get him into action. When people get frightened, they get careless.
Yeah, but they can get dangerous, too. You watch yourself.
Oh, like a hawk. Roger Phillips was still sleeping when I knocked on the door. I kept pounding till he opened it and squinted at me through puffy eyes. I introduced myself, and he showed me into a well-furnished small apartment. He put on some coffee, lit a cigarette, and sat down on the couch.
Oh, it's a little early for me, Mr.
Dollar.
Yeah. Sit down. The coffee won't take long. You're an insurance investigator.
That's right.
Well, I don't understand. What do you want to talk to me about?
Mrs. Forbes.
Mrs. Forbes?
You know her, don't you?
Mrs. Forbes. Well, I know one Mrs. Forbes, a casual.
I'm not going to play with you, Phillips. I'm talking about the Mrs. Forbes who picked you up last night and gave you a large amount of money.
Look, I don't know what this is all about.
I think you do.
I said I didn't. I was in my apartment all last night. Nobody picked me up, and certainly nobody gave me any money.
You went to a dump called the Blue Toad, and you met a man named Timmy.
Get out of here.
You're in big trouble, friend. I know all about Cleveland and Timmy Collins and Mrs. Forbes, and I think when Mrs. Forbes finds out about the deal you made with Timmy, she'll tell me everything. We'll see each other again. Oh, your coffee's boiling. Well, I'd given him the bait. A lot of hunches, but from his reaction, I was sure I'd scored. I went downstairs, crossed the street to the drugstore, waited 5 minutes to give Roger enough time to make his calls, then I slid into the phone booth and made a call of my own.
Yes, sir. Mr. Forbes' residence.
William, this is Mr. Dollar.
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Dollar. I was just going to call you, sir.
Did Mrs. Forbes just receive a call?
Yes, sir, just a moment ago. It was from the same man. She's going to meet him.
Meet him? Where?
By the cliffs.
Phillips had taken the bait. Only 2 people could implicate him in Forbes' murder, Mrs. Forbes and Timmy, and he'd called Mrs. Forbes to meet him by the cliffs. I put in another call to Lieutenant Parkhill.
That's right, Johnny. The stakeout has a tap on Timmy's phone. Phillips just called him, said to pick him up as soon as he could. Phillips told Timmy there was trouble, that some guy named Dollar had found out about the whole setup. Shame on you.
We want to stop a couple killings. We better get right out there.
A couple of killings?
Sure. Phillips lets Timmy take care of Mrs. Forbes, then he takes care of Timmy. It's the only way he can protect himself.
I'll pick you up in 5 minutes. Oh, by the way, I checked with the bank. Mrs. Forbes made a withdrawal the day before yesterday. $10,000.
The lieutenant was as good as his word. In 5 minutes, he pulled his squad car up in front of the drugstore, and I got in.
Oh, you want to wait for Timmy to pick up Phillips and then tail him?
Oh, we know where they're going. Better if we get there ahead of time.
Right.
The drive was fast. We swung off the main road on the island and headed up the private one to the Forbes estate at about 2:30 in the afternoon. Halfway to the house, we spotted Mrs. Forbes walking along the road by the cliffs. We stopped. She looked startled as we got out. Hello, Mrs. Forbes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dollar.
You've met Lieutenant Parkhill.
Yes, hello, Lieutenant. I was just taking a walk.
To meet Roger Phillips.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, we know all about it, Mrs. Forbes.
All about what, Lieutenant?
Your husband's death. Who killed him? Why he was killed.
I'm afraid I don't understand. My husband was...
Roger Phillips will be along any minute. The man he paid to kill your husband will be with him. I think he intends to kill you.
This is the most ridiculous...
Mrs. Forbes. Roger Phillips left Cleveland owing a large gambling debt to a hoodlum named Timmy Collins. Last night you picked up Mr. Phillips and gave him $10,000, which he in turn gave to Collins.
And we think he made another deal with Timmy. After he married you, he could pay off his gambling debt with interest.
Might as well tell us about it, Mrs. Forbes. He doesn't care about you. You and Timmy are the only ones that can implicate him. And he's on his way here right now to see that you don't.
I don't believe you.
Well, then find out for yourself. We'll duck the car behind those trees and give you plenty of protection when he gets here. Find out for yourself.
Parkhill drove the car off the road behind the trees, stayed hidden, and waited for Phillips and Timmy. Mrs. Forbes stood quietly looking out to sea, her hands at her sides, bunched into small fists. She stood like that, not moving, even as the car came down the road, heading right for her. She turned and saw the car bearing down on her and picking up speed, and then she knew we weren't lying. But still, she didn't move, and the lieutenant and I went to work. The car was about 50 yards away when we stepped into the road. Timmy was driving and saw us the same instant Phillips did and tried to put on the brakes as we raised our guns.
What a mess.
Yeah. I'm sorry it worked out that way.
He was going to kill me, wasn't he?
He sure was. You want to tell us about it?
Oh, yes. It doesn't make much difference now, does it?
No, I'm afraid it doesn't. Expense account item 5, $25.88, car rental and gas. Expense account items 6 and 7, $93.75. Hotel bill, train fare, and incidentals back to Hartford. Expense account total $148.48. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Remember, friends, for refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself to delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. The taste of fresh spearmint is cooling and delightful, and there's lots of it in every stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. It freshens your mouth, helps keep your throat moist, and sweetens your breath besides. You'll enjoy the good chewing, too, because Wrigley's Spearmint is so smooth and pleasant to chew on. There's nothing else quite like it. Next time you're at the store, stop at your friendly merchant's display of chewing gum and get a few packages of good-tasting Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Always keep some handy for refreshing taste plus chewing enjoyment. That's Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, brought to you by Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum, stars John Lund in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Larry Thor, Jack Moyles, Bob Griffin, Mary Jane Croft, and Jean Howell. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. The makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum hope you enjoyed tonight's story of Johnny Dollar and that you're enjoying delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum every day. This is Charles Lyon, inviting you to join us again next week at this same time when, from Hollywood, John Lund returns as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
This is the CBS Radio Network.